Hello, this is Virgil Labrador, Editor-in-Chief of Satellite Markets and Research, and we're here at the PTC 2019 in Honolulu, Hawaii, with a very familiar face, not just, for you viewers out there, but in the industry, is Gary Hatch, the co-founder of ATCI. It's one of the pioneers in the industry and a very innovative product that he co-invented, the SmallSat. He's recently sold that company, and now he's into new media ventures. And he's always been an astute observer of trends and opportunities, and he's a testament to that. He's lasted a long time in the industry and still looks very viral and young. How do you do it, Gary?
Well, I think it's our collaboration musically. You on the drums, right. Me on the guitar. Virgil did interview me one time in LAX on our way to Singapore, and by virtue of that interview, I was upgraded to first class, which I've never ridden before. Virgil was not upgraded.
Yeah, I had to stay at the back of the bus. But anyway. but Greg is a really serious person. He's actually in the board of. We are in the board together of this SSPI Southern California chapter. Mm-hmm. So Greg, now you can look at the industry from another perspective. From your company before, you were really on the ground, literally, mm-hmm. and now you're with teleports. Now you're in new space, which is very exciting, and satellite industry is coming into that. So, what do you see in the industry now?
Yeah, I mean, I've had the luxury blessing to look at SmallSat, primarily as an analyst, involved with a family fund, high net worth individuals, and who are highly invested in IoT, SmallSat imagery, sensing data, entertainment data, things of that nature. So I've been focusing primarily in the space areas, new space, new media, ad tech, harvesting of analytics and processing that data, and coupled with that, encryption, and then how that associates and cross-correlates has been kind of my area.
Right.
And so last week, I was at CES at both the Goldman Sachs and Citibank meetings, coupled with a couple of days on the floor.
Right.
And then this week here. And
that's really very interesting. Yeah. I think you could really lend some perspective on that. CES is not traditionally a show that satellite people go to, but they say IoT, 5G, there's a lot of opportunities for satellite. That's also in the talk here in the conference. There was a session on IoT that just happened. So what are your thoughts on that?
It's about data sets. Everyone wants to harvest data sets, so we look for the usage algorithms, and in the harvest of that data, we try to use multiple sensors throughout the world, and satellite's a great way to backfill access to those data sets and then process those and into many types of applications. I think at CES, one of the things I was most fascinated with, I met with John Deere in the precision agriculture, and they have purchased a company recently by the name of Blue River, and Blue River is just amazing at what they do with collected data sets from soil samples from all the machinery, and then providing ways to give back to the earth. We're all participants of it. I think 3% of the world grows for 97%. And so how we farm today is critical for not only our generation, how we feed the world, but also the next generation. John Deere has made an investment in this area. In the SmallSat arena, we're seeing a multiplicity of those things as they measure the earth and how it's healing, putting nutrients back, waterways, erosion, all of the things that as we till clean earth for the next generation will be critical.
Right.
And most of us are in here to make positive impact no matter what we're doing. Profit is part of the objective, but the spectrum we use is for all people, everywhere.
Right.
And it was here before we got here, and it'll be here long after we leave.
Right. Now, Gary, do you think satellite can really be a player in the IoT field? Because there was just that IoT session today, and the number of IoT devices that need to be connected are like 50 billion, but they're projecting only a few 100 million that satellites will actually be reaching out to.
I believe that on the move it's the most important, and John Deere the reason they invested in the Blue River and they've set up a lab in the Bay Area
Right.
will be many different applications in the Blue Alliance around ocean and how to preserve our ocean, look at global warming. Everything is critical
Right.
for the air we breathe and the water we drink is based on where we sometimes can't garner access and how we measure that. And so satellite's critical. Everyone, I mean, we're mapping the world 6 times a day.
Right.
And so we have tremendous amounts of data, and it's really how we process it. We have the capability to fix a lot of the issues that are troubling many people, all of us. And you know, our mission is to make the world a better place.
Right.
I think all of us came into the industry for that purpose, and the spectrum we use
Right.
is to benefit all people.
Right. Now, we're here at the PTC, you know, in the middle of the Pacific, and you attend the show every year, and you also attend the shows in Asia and do a lot of business there. So, what do you think of this region and its potential?
Well, you know, I've surfed the mornings, not only just the information,
Right.
but it's a great environment here. I love what's happening. O3B and what SES has done, I mean, it's a manifestation of innovation to be able to provide all of these islands, tens of thousands of islands,
Right.
quality bandwidth. I mean, it is the O3B vision, and it's done better here in the Pacific than anywhere. These were the first areas they did. It just made so much sense. You know, it was kind of the best information provided the best decisions, no doubt about it.
Right.
And so, you know, I know Steve took a picture with some of the guys from the Cook Islands, his first deal. And, you know, I was at Motorola. I mean, I saw the misfire on Iridium, you know, and you know, that was a big concern to the whole industry, but everybody kept fighting. We kept moving forward. I mean, what happened to the U.S. is kind of a beacon of what can occur worldwide. And in this case, you know, O3B, they raised the money, they had the vision, they moved it forward. Steve has done an excellent job on that. And so I think we'll see more of the same. I think there'll be additional packages. And I think in this case, every community has improved in the Pacific by having access to true trade, which is spectrum.
Right.
You know.
Right. Now, Gary, go to your crystal ball now. Where do you see the satellite industry moving forward, and where are the opportunities, you think?
Well, you know, I think we're a small portion of the entire application around spectrum. I think that may be miscast a little bit on the C-band side recently. I mean, if you look at just the United States, you have 70 million subscribers at $350 a month. 80% of them receive their video every day from C-band spectrum.
Right.
Everyone throughout the world on the VSAT side, for the most part, you do it through C-band. And so the access of that needs to continue because the citizens own the spectrum.
Right.
And so my opinion is that we can do a better job of interacting. I think everyone here, they want to harvest the user algorithms of these sensors, devices, cell phone data, and everybody guards it because there's valuation. But there's nothing probably more disappointing than being in a financial meeting at Goldman Sachs or Citibank and watching the executives who are profit-based. It's their objective, you know, and you know, we have all had to meet quarterlies, but there's always a perspective there, and I thought it was interesting to hear that the lifetime value of a digital user. Now remember, we only use the word user in the drug business, the illegal drug business, right? At least I don't, but it's used, and the media business, users of media. So, you know, I kind of think that our perspective, you know, to enhance, I mean, I look at that 72 million subscribers and toying with that C-band spectrum.
Right.
You know, it's a consideration that's a serious consideration. Those laws, you know, were brought forth through justice. Justice is doing what's right, is higher than law every time. And we know what's right. So if we affect the access to 20,000 communities by taking away their access to spectrum that's really theirs, I think we need to think about that and then, you know, look at how we are taking data, you know, valuing data, and the right usage of it. GDPR is an interesting one, keeping everybody in the right perspective, private data, personal data.
Right.
And so we use regulations, part of the system of justice and law.
Right.
But that justice is always the higher law,
Right.
we hope.
So you think satellite will still continue for?
I do.
Yeah.
And I think SmallSat, you go to a SmallSat conference and it's just astounding. We go to our conferences, in DC, and it's the geolocation guys or geosat guys and whatnot. And it'd be guys 50 years old or older, many of them. And there's some young guys interspersed there.
Right.
You go to a SmallSat conference and they ask me which classes I teach as an emeritus professor. So
and they're all T-shirts.
But
jeans.
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that at all the SmallSat conferences, some of the startup meetings I'm privileged to go to.
Right.
I really like playing ping pong, man. I'm a doubles champion. Haven't been beaten yet, but I have a ringer partner. He's a young guy and he's good. He did a ping pong startup, so I seek him out every time.
Right. Great.
It's about ping pong, man.
Right. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So Gary, any final thoughts?
I really believe that we're in a great market, and the collaboration is always the key. And we really need to make sure that we're collaborating. I think what Chris Dott, talking about, let's do it right. And,
right.
We're going to go out. We're going to be aggressive, and he had a panel today on that. But I do think if we share the data and respect the data, satellite can be a tremendous impact. And we can monitor the areas that we seriously need to monitor for the next generation. And, when I'm serious about that, we need to prepare. This is our generation.
Right.
And we're all here together. But there's, people coming behind us, and we need to make sure we take care of those resources, our land, our water, our air, those areas that are for all mankind. And satellite, to me, is the great sensor harvesting system that allows us to make sure everybody respects these tremendous resources that we have on this planet. And everyone who goes outside of planet Earth and they look back and they see the small blue planet, Carl Sagan, billions and billions years ago.
Pale blue dot.
Yeah, pale blue dot. But they all come back and they are transformed.
Right.
And I think that's just the vision I hope we all have, that we need to transform.
Right.
Because we have access to technology that is amazing, and there are windows yet to be seen and envisioned. We think they close, but 12 new ones open up every day. Who can see them? And I feel privileged that in the SmallSat and some of these development areas, I'm proud of the youth that are getting involved in satellite right now.
Right.
And that is a manifestation to me that I get to live through those guys again as a startup.
Right.
A guy who enhances those. So.
Yeah, I remember all your stories about when you started in the industry many years ago, and you're still as enthusiastic and as positive and as optimistic about it.
Well, I just won the ping pong game.
Right.
If I would have lost, I'd feel different.
Right.
No, there's a tremendous group here, and they're from all over the world.
Right.
So the Pacific Rim is well attended. PTC does a tremendous job here, and encourage everyone who can. And it's a great way to start the year. CS is okay, it's big, it's massive.
Right.
But here we hang loose.
Right. Well, on that thought, always good to talk to you, Gary.
Likewise.
You are not just a source of support, but of illumination. I think you really clarify a lot of things in the industry and where it's going.
Appreciate what satellite research does, and like I say, the best data creates the best decisions. And I think if we really take in what you guys are putting together, we can move forward and make some really solid decisions.
Well, thank you very much, Gary, and keep on hanging in there, man. And for all the news and information on the global satellite industry, always have satellite markets and research at www.satellitemarkets.com.